Let me tell you something most people don't want to hear. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your ticket to greatness. While everyone else is whining, hiding, complaining about how hard life is, you will rise, not despite the pain, but because of it. Weakness doesn't come from pain. Weakness comes from running from it. Every time you shy away from discomfort, you throw away a piece of your potential. But every time you lean into the grind, every time you push through the burn, every time you smile while it hurts, you're building someone no one can break. Success isn't found in comfort. Champions are born in suffering. You think it's a coincidence that the strongest men have the hardest stories? No, it's a formula. Pain is the forge, and you're the weapon. You want discipline? Earn it through repetition. You want respect? Earn it in silence while nobody's watching. You want freedom? Earn it through suffering and sacrifice. So don't avoid pain. Don't medicate it. Don't whine about it. Embrace it. Love it. Thank it. Because it's the only honest thing in this fake world that actually makes you better. Pain is a tool, not a punishment. That's where people get it twisted. The moment something hurts, the average person starts crying, complaining, asking, why me? But pain was never designed to destroy you. It was designed to wake you up. It's life's most honest feedback. Pain tells you where you're weak, where you're soft, where you've been slacking. While comfort lies to you and whispers sweet nothings in your ear, pain gives it to you straight. Pain doesn't coddle you. It corrects you. And if you're smart, you'll learn to listen. Most people run from pain because they think it means they're failing. That couldn't be more wrong. If you're feeling pain, you're in the arena. You're not sitting in the stands with the spectators. You're in the game, taking hits, earning scars, becoming something real. It's a signal that you're pushing past the threshold of mediocrity. You're not coasting through life on autopilot. You're engaging, you're growing, and yeah, it's gonna hurt. But that pain? That's proof you're alive and chasing something that matters. Pain is the process. You can't sculpt a statue without hammering the stone. You can't build muscle without tearing the fibers. You can't sharpen a blade without grinding it against steel. Growth is violent. Evolution is uncomfortable. So why would becoming the strongest, hardest version of yourself feel like a vacation? Birth. The pain is the cost. And every second you endure it, you're investing in your future self. The one who can handle more, achieve more, dominate more. You've got to flip the script in your mind. Stop asking how to avoid pain. Start asking what it's trying to teach you. Is it mental weakness? Laziness? Emotional softness? Every time you feel it, it's exposing your blind spots. And when you understand that, you start to use pain like a compass, not a curse. It becomes your guide. It shows you exactly where the next level is and dares you to step up. Because here's the truth. Life isn't fair, and it's not supposed to be. It doesn't care about your feelings, but it does care how you respond. Pain separates the victims from the warriors. It's not there to break you. It's there to build the kind of person who can't be broken. Weakness comes from comfort, period. Comfort is the slowest killer on earth, and most people are dying from it every single day without even realizing. You want to know why you're soft, why you're tired, why you can't stay disciplined? Look around. Look at your easy chair, your fast food, your constant entertainment, your zero-resistance lifestyle. Everything's built to numb you. But what it's really doing is rotting your edge. You weren't built to sit around and coast. You were built to battle. Comfort is the cage. And worst part, you locked yourself in. Think about it. When was the last time you did something hard on purpose? Not because someone forced you, but because you wanted to feel the resistance. If you can't remember, you're probably slipping into softness without even seeing it. Comfort makes you lazy. Comfort makes you emotional. Comfort makes you complacent. And when you're complacent, you forget what you're capable of. You stop challenging yourself. You stop growing. And then one day, life punches you in the mouth and you don't have the grit to take the hit because you spent too long hiding in the warmth. You ever notice how lions in the wild are fierce, but lions in the zoo look bored? Same animal, different environment. That's the power of comfort. It domesticates killers. It turns warriors into pets. You were born with fire, with instinct, with aggression, but you've been trained to tame it. Sit still. Be quiet. Don't take risks. And now you wonder why your life feels empty, why you feel weak. Comfort stripped the fight out of you, and you let it. Everything you want exists on the other side of discomfort. Discipline, success, confidence, power, none of that grows in comfort zones. You've got to choose pain over peace. You've got to chase the grind, not the pleasure. Because every day you let comfort win, you're shrinking. You're becoming less. But every day you step into challenge, you're becoming dangerous. And let me tell you something. The world fears a man who's comfortable in discomfort. That's the one they can't control. So while others seek ease, you seek effort. While they rest, you rise. While they soften, you sharpen. Weakness isn't genetic. It's not fate. It's a choice. A habit built one soft moment at a time. And every moment you spend chasing comfort, you're choosing to stay average. But you weren't born to be average. You were born to dominate. Struggle reveals who you are, not the version you show the world when things are going smooth. Not the social media highlight reel. Not the fake confidence you wear when there's nothing at stake. I'm talking about who you are when everything falls apart. When you're tired, broke, hurting, alone. That's the real you. The stripped down, unfiltered version that only shows up in the fire. Struggle doesn't create character. It exposes it. It shows you exactly what you're made of. No lies, no illusions. Most people avoid struggle because they don't want to see what's under the surface. They're scared of what they might find. Weakness, fear, doubt. So they hide behind distractions, behind comfort, behind fake toughness. But you don't run. You stare the storm in the face. Because only in the storm do you get to meet the real version of yourself, the one that can't be faked. You find out if you're a fighter, or a faker, or a faker. You find out if your so-called a grind is real, or just something you say when the cameras are on. The gym reveals it. Business reveals it. Life reveals it. When the reps hurt, when the money's not coming in, when the pressure hits, that's when your true character walks onto the stage. You can't bluff that moment. You can't pretend. Either you push or you fold. Either you rise or you crumble. Struggle rips the mask off and shows the world what kind of man you really are. And if you're afraid of that truth, you'll never grow, because you'll never face the mirror that pain provides. But here's the catch. The ones who embrace the struggle, who lean into it instead of hiding from it, they evolve. They become battle-tested. Every time you go through something hard and refuse to break, your identity changes. You stop seeing yourself as fragile. You start seeing yourself as dangerous, as someone who doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, doesn't quit. That mindset becomes your armor. And the more you struggle, the stronger it gets. You don't build confidence from compliments. You build it by surviving hell. You build it when life tries to bury you and you dig your way out. So if you're in the middle of the grind, good. Stay there. Embrace it. Because every ounce of pressure is revealing who you really are and giving you the chance to become something far more powerful than the man you were before. Champions are born in suffering, not in comfort, not in luxury, not in the glow of praise and applause. They're built in the dark, when no one's clapping, when everything hurts, when the only thing you have left is your will. You think the greats got there by having it easy? They quit on day one. They ghost their goals. They fall apart over minor setbacks. Why? Because they never built the muscle of resilience. Pain is the weight you lift for your soul. Every repetition makes you tougher. Every setback makes you sharper. Every hardship makes your baseline stronger. And over time, you develop this inner steel. You walk different. You think different. You're calm in storms because you've already survived worse. So if it hurts, good. Let it hurt. Good. Let it hurt. Sit in it. Learn from it. Use it. Because that's where your discipline is born. That's where your resilience grows. Not when it's easy, but when you do it even though it's hard. The man who lives in pain by choice becomes a weapon in a world full of cowards looking for comfort. You want strength? Show me what you do when it burns. Excuses are the language of the weak. They're the vocabulary of losers, of people who've already decided to fail and are just trying to make it sound noble. You ever notice how the people doing the least always have the most to say? The most reasons why it didn't work, the most of bad luck, the most of bad luck, the most if-onlys. Let's call it what it is. Cowardice in disguise. An excuse is just a lie you tell yourself to feel better about not doing what had to be done. The truth is, if it really mattered to you, you'd find a way. Winners don't speak that language. They don't have time for it. They're too busy figuring it out. Too busy showing up broken. Too busy grinding while everyone else is whining. You think they don't have obstacles? You think their life is some perfect script? No, they just refuse to be defined by setbacks. While everyone else is looking for an exit, they're looking for a route forward. They solve problems. They adapt. They take the hit, spit out blood, and get back to work. That's the difference. That's what separates the predators from the prey. Excuses are seductive because they feel good in the moment. They take the heat off. They make you feel like the victim instead of the one who dropped the ball. But long term, they destroy you. They convince you that mediocrity is acceptable. Or they poison your standards, weaken your habits, and hand over your potential to laziness. Every time you make an excuse, you reinforce the identity of someone who lets themselves off the hook. And the more you do that, the harder it becomes to ever be great. Real accountability is brutal, but it's the only path to power. You've got to stop blaming the economy, your past, your parents, your boss, your situation. None of that matters. Own it all. Own your wins. Own your losses. Own your discipline. Own your failures. Because when you take full control, when you cut the excuses and stare your own reflection in the face, that's when you become dangerous. That's when you become unstoppable. Why? Because there's no fallback plan. Just forward. So the next time you're about to speak weakness, catch yourself. Are you explaining, or are you escaping? Are you being honest, or are you just afraid to admit you didn't push hard enough? High performers don't have time for stories. They deal in results. Excuses are for spectators. You're in the arena. And in the arena, you either deliver or you're irrelevant. Not success requires sacrifice. That's the brutal reality no one wants to accept. Everyone wants the result, the body, the money, the status, the respect. But nobody wants to bleed for it. You can't have it all. You can't live like the masses and expect the life of the elite. There's a price, and most people aren't willing to pay it. They want shortcuts. They want hacks. But success doesn't speak that language. It responds to grind, commitment, and sacrifice. Always has, always will. If you're not willing to give something up, you don't deserve the reward. That's the deal. You want the physique. Say goodbye to junk food, lazy weekends, and sleeping in. You want the business? Sacrifice your comfort, your free time, your social life. You want to be mentally sharp. Trade the constant distractions, the scrolling, the mindless entertainment. Success is about what you're willing to let die in order for your vision to live. Most people never win because they're too busy clinging to mediocrity and calling it a balance. Look around. Everyone says they want more, but they live like they're entitled to it without giving anything in return. That's not how it works. This isn't some participation trophy generation fantasy. This is war. If you're not sacrificing, you're not serious. You're just talking. And your life is proof of that. What you sacrifice is what defines you. It's the line between dreams and reality, between wishing and building. If you've never sacrificed sleep, comfort, ego, or time, then you haven't even started. Sacrifice is where you prove your hunger. It's where you show the universe you're not here to play. You're here to dominate. You train when others party. You study when others sleep. You grind when nobody's watching. You bleed for it. and that blood becomes your currency. The world respects sacrifice. It doesn't care about your plans or your goals. It respects the man who gives something up to chase them. Because that man's dangerous. He's not hoping to win. He's committed to it. So every day, ask yourself, what am I willing to give up? What am I willing to burn to the ground to build what I want? Because success doesn't come from comfort. It comes from trade-offs. If you're not making sacrifices, you're making excuses. And the more excuses you make, the more your dreams rot in a graveyard of almost. You don't grow when it's easy. You grow when it hurts. That's the truth no one wants to swallow. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It doesn't happen in comfort. It doesn't happen when the sun's shining and everything's going your way. It happens in the grind. It happens when your back is against the wall, your body's shot, your mind's screaming to quit. And you don't. That's where the shift happens. Not when things are smooth, but when they're savage. Pain is the trigger, struggle is the catalyst. You break in order to rebuild. Think about any time in your life when you made real progress. Mentally, physically, emotionally. Was it during a vacation? Was it during easy days when everything flowed? Hell no. It was when you were under pressure. When things were falling apart. When you were forced to dig deeper than you thought possible. That's where you leveled up. That's when you found out you had more in the tank. Pain isn't just part of the journey. It is the journey. It shapes you. It tears down the soft parts and replaces them with steel. The easy life makes you forget who you are. It makes you weak, makes you slow, makes you entitled. But when life punches you in the mouth, that's when you get real again. That's when you remember that strength isn't something you're given. It's something you forge in fire. Every struggle is an opportunity to become more. If you lean into it, if you treat it like a lesson instead of a loss. Pain isn't your enemy, it's your trainer. It's the coach screaming in your ear while the rest of the world is asleep. Growth is supposed to hurt. That's how you know it's real. You're tearing through limits. You're confronting fears. You're stepping into places most people run from. And that's the whole point. If it doesn't challenge you, it can't change you. So if it's heavy, if it's stressful, if it's breaking you down, good. That's exactly where you need to be. That means you're on the edge of something new, something better, something more powerful than you've ever been. So stop asking for things to be easier. Start asking for the strength to handle harder, because greatness isn't born on smooth roads. It's built in the trenches. When it hurts, you grow. When it burns, you evolve. And when most people tap out, that's your moment to push through and become undeniable. So now the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you? Will you suffer for your greatness? Will you bleed for your legacy? Will you stop making excuses, get out of your comfort zone, and embrace the pain that's going to forge the beast you were born to be? Because here's the truth. Pain is the path, and there's no other way. Comfort is the enemy. Excuses are cancer. And every second you waste waiting for it to get easier, someone else is out there grinding, suffering, earning what you said you wanted. This world doesn't care about your potential. It only respects your proof. So either you step up, get uncomfortable, and make pain your training partner, or you get left behind with the rest of the soft, silent majority who never had the guts to go all in. You want power? Earn it. You want freedom? Fight for it. You want to be remembered? Then be willing to endure what the forgettable never could. Embrace the pain. Let it mold you. Let it harden you. Because the man who conquers pain conquers everything.